Alright guys, Pulaski come back with two more reviews. These ones are of Clay Hill's Planes and Rawson Marshall Thurber's Were the Millers. So I'm going to be doing this style the same way I did my last two reviews, which are of the to-do list and Two Guns. I'm just going to be shooting them in one video. Camera's all screwed up. Sorry, I haven't had much time to set this up. Anyway, I'm going to be doing these two reviews. Got 5 minutes for each movie. Thought this would be easier than two separate videos. Let's get into it. First one is Planes. Okay, it is a spin-off. The title, or the tagline itself says, From the World Above Cars, okay? Which I think is already going to alienate some viewers. Basically, this is the idea of cars, but except it's planes. And that's about all you could say. It's about Dusty Crophopper, who's a crop dusting plane. He's voiced by Dane Cook, who dreams of becoming a plane that would race in like all these around the world races. The problem is Dusty Crophopper is afraid of the heights, okay? So he finds this guy he finds this other plane who's very skilled at flying at high altitudes and is competing in numerous races. So what winds up happening is he becomes his mentor so that he can compete in this new worldwide race that takes place over different countries and everything. So that's basically the movie, and I think I'm shortchanging the plot, but that's about all I got out of it, okay? And as far as this movie goes, okay, when I first heard that they were making planes, okay, instead of cars, and it was originally conceived as a straight-to-DVD series, okay? That's how I heard about it. Then when I read up a few months ago, I'm like, wait, this is going to theaters? You know, really? Are you serious right now? I mean, I don't know. This movie, as a whole, it's clearly a Disney movie, okay? And it's clearly a lazy Disney movie, alright? That's the problem with it. Even the animation doesn't look on par with a lot of CGI animated features you see nowadays. The issue being that the movie itself, like I say, some scenes look great. Like scenes that show like the Himalayas or the Taj Mahal, they look really good, okay? Because they're shot with a lot of breathtaking detail. Now, the scenes that focus on, like, planes or a lot of characters and scenes, like when Dusty Crophopper and his friends are talking, they don't look that good. They almost look like the last still of a movie. Like sometimes you see like pre-release photos. They look like unfinished stills almost that are like about to be transferred into the full CGI process when the detailing goes on. They look like rough cuts is almost what they look like. And this is clearly a straight to DVD movie. There's no doubt about it, okay? Even if I didn't know, you could probably guess that this was going to go straight to DVD. And that's the thing about it. There's not a whole ton to say. Both these movies, Were the Millers and Planes, there's not a whole ton to say about it. The thing about Planes, though, is it's just very unsubstantial of a viewing for kids and for adults. There are also scenes, like with the international planes that are from Britain or are from Mexico that are, like, so stereotypical and so shallow that they could almost be mistaken for being racist. And that's a sad thing to note in a kid movie. I mean, and that's about it of all I can say, okay? I actually liked both Cars movies, okay? Judge me. I gave the original Cars movie 4 stars, okay? 4 out of 4 stars. I loved it. I saw it as a kid in theaters on the first day it was out. Loved it. Seen it like 3 more times since. I love it. It's a typical story, but it's told with that Pixar heart too. And it's told with that great... I don't really know how to explain it because I haven't watched it in about a year or two, but I mean, it's told with a great sense of, like, life and appreciation for life, which is what I really got out of it, which I think a lot of people are sort of shortchanging. They look at the story, and also I think the other thing, too, is Larry the Cable Guy. A lot of people don't like Mater. He doesn't bother me so much. People get so irritated with that character. I read online, and it almost seems, like, immature the way people get irritated by him, and that's why a lot of people hated Cars, too, I believe. But, I mean, he never bothered me. Larry the Cable Guy doesn't bother me, and Mater the character doesn't bother me. I thought it was a fun bunny movie, okay? The original Cars. The sequel, yeah, there's a lot of issues with it, okay? Don't get me wrong. But, I mean, I still think Cars 2 is better than Planes, and a lot of people are going to probably judge me on that. Cars 2 has at least has the it still has that Pixar moral, and it's got a better look to it. And it also, there's stuff going on in Cars 2 that led it to become less predictable. Planes from the start is predictable, okay? Predictable to the point of boredom. Like, at least with some predictable movies, you can at least get into to a certain level. This, it's just very repetitive and very boring. Didn't like it. Out of 4 stars, it gets a 2. We're at the 5-minute mark, we're moving on to We're the Millers, okay? So, We're the Millers stars Jason Sudeikis, Jennifer Aniston, Will Poulter, I believe his name is, and Emma Roberts. Okay, so basically, it's about Jason Sudeikis, who's a drug dealer. He's like a small-time drug dealer in Denver, and he works for Ed Helms' character, Ed Helms' character. So what winds up happening though is he winds up getting robbed. So in order to pay Ed Helms back, he has to go on this he has to go to Mexico to pick up a smidge and a half actually of marijuana, and so what winds up happening then is he's afraid he doesn't want to go across the border because he knows he looks suspicious. He knows he looks like a dropout loser. So he winds up getting a fake family. So he gets Jennifer Aniston, who's a stripper and lives in his apartment complex. He gets Will Poulter, who's another guy who lives in his apartment complex, and he gets Emma Roberts, who's a runaway. So what winds up happening is they get this RV and they drive out through Mexico and they pick up the drugs, and like I said, they're trying to pass off this fake family routine. And when they find out that the weed, there's like, you know, I think there's 2 metric tons, I believe, of weed they have to smuggle. Then, you know what I mean? Then it starts getting to be too much or whatever. And then the fake family, they start falling apart a little bit. Then they start just only go back together. Anyway, how's the movie? I liked it. I liked it a lot more than you would think. I was wary though because of the trailers. Because the trailers too were funny, but there were too many of them. There were like 8 trailers for this movie. There was a number of TV spots too. I was on the radio a couple days ago on WLRA 88.1 FM with a good friend of mine. It's a college radio. And he asked me about We're the Millers and what I thought of it. And I said the problem with We're the Millers though, from what I see immediately, because I hadn't seen it at that point, there's too many trailers. It looks like it's giving stuff away, and comedies tend to do that. They tend to make too many trailers, okay? They tend to make so many trailers that, like, they give away all the jokes. You wonder what's left for the movie, and that can be the problem. That's why I look out for independent movies. They don't have many trailers. They usually only have 1. They don't even have many commercials, so you go in and you're pretty blind, and that's the best kind of viewing I can ask for. Now, Where the Millers, though, is funny, and it works largely in part because of its cast. Sudeikis, Aniston, Poulter, and I keep forgetting his name, I hope I'm saying it right, and Emma Roberts. They're terrific, okay? They're really terrific. They pass off this fake family thing very well. Some of the gags don't work, okay? Like, there's one entire, like, pseudo-gay scene with Luis Guzman that just does not work and is not funny from the start. And then there's you see in the trailer too, the swinging scene when they meet another RV couple. That doesn't work. And there are quite a few jokes that fall flat, okay? I'm not going to lie. There are a few jokes that really, they're not really sight gags. They're more like shock gags in a way, like of what people say. They're like verbal shock gags is what they are. A lot of those don't work. But the witty banter between the family is what does work and is the glue that keeps this movie from falling apart, okay? The only other thing I could complain about is that it's a little bit too long. It kind of gets to be a little bit of a muchness, you know what I mean? And the road movie effect starts to go on when it just becomes you know what I mean, a bit too much. There's a lot of jokes. You could tell it almost seems like they're slowing the plot down in order to make more time for jokes. But other than that, though, I think this is a really good comedy, okay? I think it's one of the better comedies of the year, in a year filled that was with so much garbage as far as comedies go, man. There have been, like, really few standout comedies. Even the independent ones, like the To-Do List, which I just reviewed last week, have been slacking. But I mean, We're the Millers, though, too, I also got to say that I think it benefits, too, from that raunch with heart. But it isn't that raunchy because there's no nudity in the movie. There's one scene that is hinted at in the trailer, like almost every big joke in the movie is, but that's the only scene. And Jennifer Aniston, even though she plays a stripper, no nudity. Putting that out there. But that's the other thing I've noticed too with this movie is that it's not that raunchy, so you can't call it a raunch with heart. There's language in it, don't get me wrong, there's quite a bit of language, but it's not even that vulgar to begin with for a contemporary comedy. This is a different kind of comedy. It's a little bit of a more lax comedy. Thank God it wasn't PG-13, I gotta say that though, because PG-13 would have ruined this movie, would have ruined its jokes, would have ruined its setups. But at least with this, though, it manages to be funny without being too reliant on, like, nudity, sex, and shock gags. Like I said, there's a couple shock gags, but they're not, like, like, visual shock gags. You know what I mean? Funny enough, and it's got enough heart where I can believe, and it doesn't get too all sentimental at the end, which big plus in my book. Out of 4 stars, giving it a 3. Both of these reviews will be on Influx Magazine. Planes is already up. We'll get Where the Millers up as soon as possible. Thank you guys for watching. Keep in mind these video reviews are a companion piece. My written reviews will not get a full opinion in my video reviews. For the full opinion, you look on the written review, which is linked below. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.